Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Welcome to Short Shifts. I'm the captain of today's episode, Jeffrey Jehu Vechs, along with my name is Toph. I am Toph. I'm sorry, said in our last episode. I am Toph. Here with Toph. He has no idea what I'm going to say ever. He has no idea what I'm going to ask. I wanted to talk about should there be limits for youth coaching on how many years they should be able to coach a team? Like, I think that this is my personal opinion. I'll hit you with first because you're a much smarter hockey guy than myself. But like 2 to 3 years, hopefully you've given them almost everything you can. And obviously, if you're a great hockey mind, you're always going to be able to help players every day. But does it make sense to pass teams off every 2 years? So it's a new voice, it's a new system. They're learning to be under somebody else who does things differently. And is that going to help them ultimately in their development as a human for down the road, different bosses, different jobs, and down the road, because hopefully help them play longer with different coaches who have different systems? Or you got one great coach, you let him go the whole way, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Vechs, I'm going to, for those of you that don't know what that was a clap. That was a clap. Because that is a phenomenal question. And this is why I think like what we're doing is so freaking awesome, because for all of the coaches that we do our youth organization blueprint with, we have a call every Tuesday that all the coaches have access to. And we pick a specific topic. We talk about that topic. It could be anything and everything, hockey related, team building related, whatever it may be. And all of the coaches of all of the teams that I do this blueprint with can get on this call to collaborate. And so we literally had our call today. It's every Tuesday afternoon during lunchtime. And the topic today was building trust. And how do you build trust within your team? How do you build trust from a coach to the player and things like that? And so this literal topic came up in today. So this is very top of mind for me. Wow.
That's hilarious.
Jeffrey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. It's a good topic.
This is something I've thought about for a while though.
So we're sitting there, and there was a coach that was talking about building trust, and he was like, this is my third year coaching this team, and I feel like we've regressed a little bit. Like the year one was amazing, year two was amazing, but he felt like year three coaching that same exact team, he felt like, not that his message was coming on deaf ears, but just like the progress that they were making that he saw in those first 2 years, it wasn't as much. And so we talked about this today, and what a lot of the guys were talking about, and there's a lot of youth coaches on these calls that have done this for a long time, and they agreed like there should be some sort of a shelf life for you with a specific group of kids. Number one, because if you're hearing the same things all the time, like that message can get a little bit, I don't want to call it stale, but like, especially if you're a good coach, it's not stale, but like you could feel like as a coach, you're not getting to these players. They're not maybe learning, some different things, but also on the other side of it too, like we need different types of coaches as kids to learn from. Different coaches value different things on the ice, the way that their structure is, the way that they plan their practices, the way that they see the game and how they teach the game. We need different coaches. We need coaches that are really, really hard on us, more old school. We need coaches who are more player coaches that can help us to, create confidence and things like that. And anything and everything in between. So I do feel like it's a good idea 2, maybe 3 years, and then like let's let these kids learn from somebody else who can teach them something different, who has a different personality, who has a different routine, who has a different way of communicating and doing things. Because if the goal is to play higher level hockey, like you might not know who your coach is going to be. and you're going to have to know how to handle different types of coaches. At the end of the day, you and I both know that really, really well. Like some of the coaches that we had were really hard to play for. Some of the coaches that we had, maybe not as much. And having the muscle memory, let's call it, to learn from different types of people, I think is really, really important for a kid's development.
Yeah, it's such a good point. It probably would also, if coming into coaching that you only have 2 years with the team, hopefully that makes you kind of want to like really, maybe that makes you even more invested because you're like, I only have 2 seasons with these guys. I got to give them everything I can here.
Maybe.
I don't know, but that is what I was thinking. Like I've been thinking that for a while, but is that something that you would mandate across all of USA hockey, let's call it, or is that something that you would go more like that wouldn't work?
No chance you mandate that.
No
Think
chance.
about this. Think about the 6 first-round draft picks or 5 first-round
Yeah.
draft picks that came out of St. Louis that one year.
Right.
Well,
right.
they had Keith Kachuk to coach them. And also there's a lot of parent coaches too, right?
Right.
And so like, if there's a really good parent coach of a team and you don't have to pay a coach, an exorbitant amount of money to have a non-parent coach,
yeah,
like that, there's, I guess, some incongruencies there, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's something that you mandate. I think it could be a guideline. I think it could be a guideline that you kind of want to have as an organization. But imagine telling like, Clayton Keller and Brady Kachuk and Joseph Woll and all those guys, hey, we got this rule. We got this steadfast rule, and this coach that's amazing. This guy, Keith Kachuk, who's potentially a Hall of Famer, like, sorry, we're not going to go. We're not going to have a coach this
year. Yeah. So it's, obviously can't mandate it. Yeah. It's interesting though. It's like, I think it could do a lot of good. I guess I'm thinking like ideal situations too, where it would make the most sense is if you obviously had a stable of really good coaches that like coaching.
Totally.
And that's in that scenario, that's probably something where they're being paid, and because they're good coaches, and then you would be cycling through, teams every 2 years, and obviously that's completely ideal, and that's not the situation.
Yeah, there's idealism and there's reality, right?
Yeah, that's not, and that's my head in the clouds.
And I think a further discussion that you can have on this too is like, I know a lot of parents, who are pretty good coaches, but they're like, hey, like my kids can't, like, I want to be a dad or I want to be a mom, like more than a coach now. Like my time with my kid has kind of passed, and like they need to learn from somebody else. Like I know there's a lot of parent coaches that have that conundrum in their head of like, I feel like I'm probably the best option for all these kids, but also like maybe they should be hearing from somebody else. And particularly my kid, like I kind of I'd rather just be their parent rather than be their coach. So there's some like ins and outs to those kinds of things too. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. If you are watching this on YouTube, I'm like weirdly talking with my hands right now. So apologize for that. But yeah, like I do think, like, getting back to your question, man, and it's so funny that you brought this up today because we literally had this conversation on our coaches call so it's, what time is it right now? It's 8:30. So 8 hours ago. And yeah, they felt like there was a shelf life, with the message that they were trying to get across. And also, yeah, like, being able to learn from different people gives you different experiences, which can help you as you get older and get into different things. And honestly, like, not even from a hockey standpoint too, like, you don't know what your boss's personality is going to be like. You don't know what your boss's routine or how they're going to coach you, or like, it's good to have different perspective.
Definitely. And some different leadership styles, so that they can have that. But maybe like a great way to start this would be like having a different coach come in every once in a while and run a practice, like small scale, easily.
Dude.
You could implement that immediately, and they could be taught from a different voice, and it'd be exciting for them, and all these things. I think that makes sense.
100%. I think every organization should implement some kind of, like structure where once a month, like the coach of the older team is coming down and coaching the younger team, or vice versa. I think that's so incredibly valuable to, also like coaches can use a day off every once in a while too, and just sit there and observe. I think you get a lot out of that by not being the one that's really running everything and just watching. So
Time's
awesome
up.
topic, man. Time's
Share
up.
the show.
Share the show.
See you in the community.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.